Welcome to 75A McGuire Lane, the home of Elmira's Field of Dreams housing project. If we build it, will you fund?
I'm happy. I don't to find you. I to do what I want. I to go home when I want. Yes, I'm only happy where I am.
It's a very good thing to move on out there. My parents and living for myself.
I like living on my own, like I'm a proper young girl, helping people out very much.
So it's been a while since you've been here. When it was here, it was just 2x4s, right? So come on in, you can see what your apartment's gonna look like.
Oh, this is beautiful.
My name's Greg Bouchard, and I am the Executive Director of Elmira District Community Living, and I'm also the Executive Director of the Elmira Developmental Support Corporation, which is a housing corporation whose primary purpose is to create housing for individuals with intellectual disabilities. I think you can get a sense for what it's going to look like in your living room and kitchen.
Oh, that is really nice.
We support people from the Elmira area, but also from the broader Waterloo region. People have moved from as far away as Mississauga. There are over 12,000 people in the province of Ontario who need affordable supportive housing. The Government of Ontario has issued a challenge to organizations like ours who support people with intellectual disabilities to find new partnerships and new ways of developing housing for those people. In the Waterloo region, the wait for affordable housing for people is up to 5 years. And many families who are supporting children at home are aging. You may have parents who are in their 70s and 80s with children in their 30s and 40s still living at home. So you can imagine their anxiety and their sense of need to finalize the living arrangements and ongoing supports for their children. So there is an urgency and there is a need to do this now. It's acknowledged that the government can't be all things to all people. And so in our community, we have taken a more entrepreneurial approach in terms of developing housing. We have a business model, but because the housing is affordable, we can't do it all on a cash flow, borrowing or mortgaging basis. We can carry a small debt, but not a large debt. And so we're relying on donors to help us in creating this much needed housing. We created this first building here, a 7-unit apartment building that supports 8 people with intellectual disabilities and 2 individuals who live in the building who function as good friends and neighbors who provide passive supports to the other tenants in the building by being friends and providing social contact.
So anyone need ketchup? There's ketchup, mustard, all that fun stuff.
We've partnered with 2 universities, Renison University College, which is an affiliate of the University of Waterloo, and their Social Development Studies program. And we provide 2 full scholarships, so for 2 students we pay their tuition, rent-free accommodation, internet, cable, laundry, in exchange for being a good friend and neighbor to the other tenants in the building.
My role is to be a friend to all the tenants that are here. So although they're already very much included in the community, they're very much aware of their own surroundings. They know more about this area than I do. My job is just kind of to be there for them and be that support for them that doesn't come with being paid support.
All of the scholarships that we offer to students who function as good friends and neighbors are privately funded by philanthropists and donors in the community. Each blue stake represents a separate building lot. There are 3 blue stakes, so 3 additional buildings. This is the first building that we've developed as part of the Field of Dreams project. Our model in terms of operation is very different than the traditional group home model or government-funded model. A typical group home for 4 to 6 people would cost anywhere from $360,000 to $400,000 a year to operate. Our similar approach through apartments as opposed to a group home project operates on average with about $30,000 worth of funding annually that is provided to the individuals, not the housing or the agency. In other words, the tenants bring the support dollars with them. All we provide is housing. Why and how can we do it cheaper? Well, we don't rely on paid staff to provide the supports. We basically function on 6 principles. The first principle is the abilities of the individual. What can they do for themselves? The second part is what can family and friends provide in terms of supports?
Come on, April, one more time.
The third part is what can the community provide? So work, recreation, volunteering, church, Special Olympics, all of those kinds of activities and people provide supports that in a group home are provided for individuals whether they need them or not. So a reduction in cost there.
You go into the events page.
The fourth part is technology. We use technology to provide support. So instead of staff giving medications where individuals need help, we use equipment and other technologies to allow the individual to be independent in that regard.
Just like you would program your calendar and your Outlook, you can prompt anything.
Excuse me, Tyler, you need to leave for your appointment in 15 minutes. Please make sure you are ready to go.
As soon as he prompts a code, it will text me when Tyler enters the building, when Tyler leaves the building. You can give staff members a different code so you know it's a staff member versus it's Tyler leaving or coming.
Good morning, Tyler. It is time to get up and start the day.
The fifth is the good neighbor concept which we've created. We don't need or require overnight staffing in our apartment buildings because if a person needs help, they go and bang on the door of their neighbor.
I had received a scholarship through University of Waterloo in a social work program. For a lot of people, they think about what an intentional relationship is. A lot of times, people just need someone to relate to.
Hot dogs. Roast them on the fire.
My neighbors here were very welcoming when I entered the building and very eager to invite me for coffees and that sort of thing.
This will be pretty busy, I'm sure, with the new building.
Oh, yeah.
It's really just to, have a presence here, share some time socializing, talking, maybe planning some activities and spending time together, just in a social role.
There's the farmers market, past St. Jacob's there. And
Really?
I have a social network and a support network that kind of motivate me and keep me going day to day. And sometimes for adults with disability, especially when they've just moved off independently and are now living in their own apartment, those needs are kind of harder to meet because they've moved out of their comfort zone and they're now experiencing something so new and exciting and different. And having people in their lives who are intentionally relating to them and intentionally becoming their friends helps them adjust. One thing that drives each and every human being is social interaction and friendship and relationships.
So those are some ways in which we reduce costs. Other strategies then include, as a last resort, the paid staff requirement. So in a group home, you pay for all of those types of support needs, whether they're needed or not. In this model, you pay only for the things that are absolutely needed.
It's a wonderful experience being in this field of dreams. Since I moved in, it was not what I expected to what it is now. Now that I'm actually in it, I love it every day.
We're really happy we're living here. It's a lot better than the other place because there's smoking and drinking and drugs and, it wasn't very good at the other place where we're at.
I happy. I do all to friends here. Church I friend the John come when you see me, friends of mine. The church I go on to friend the John house too.
I went to visit the parents at Snow Goose and I saw the model. And then I got really excited. With Tyler, he has Williams syndrome, so his intellectual capability is around a 6, 7-year-old. I was very worried about his safety. Couldn't imagine how am I gonna leave a 6 or 7-year-old overnight. And Tyler is not great at self-regulation. Tyler really is thriving here. He started to really come around to, this is my home. I think I can belong here. Gave him the confidence to live as independently as possible and make his own decisions.
At the other place, the guy down the hall, he used to come and beg for food all the time.
You're free, but I said as I was learning, I'm still learning to be independent.
In order to develop this housing, of course, a $4.3 million undertaking in total, we require many partners, whether it be donors or other developers, investment of families into acquiring housing units in developments that are being built like this to make a project like this happen. Elmira is a small community, and our approach is very folksy, very friendly in terms of how we fundraise. We don't have a sophisticated program of funding in terms of how people would donate and how they would be recognized. We believe very much that when people understand what we're trying to do and how we're approaching this from a business-like direction as opposed to dependent on government funding, that they will determine themselves what they want to donate or how they want to participate in this project. There's no donation too small and certainly no donation too large that we would accept.
I think it's a great opportunity for everybody in the community to participate in the funding, and certainly we'll be part of that. The community meaning local residents, government, everybody, because it takes the community to be involved in this kind of project and to really recognize that we're just building part of the community. This project, I think, is also unique, not because of just the setup of it, but it's completely sustainable. And so with the initial funding to build the facilities, it then becomes sustainable and ongoing so that future generations are going to have this. So that's what makes it, for me in any event, a particularly worthwhile investment.
I think we like that example of carrying it forward, is that contributing to our community, contributing to the people that work here, contributing to the students that will go on to do good work in this particular sector, carries it forward so that the good works are not only in the present but can be paid back to those that need it the most.
This is an opportunity to make a difference in your own community. There are a lot of charitable organizations that are amazing causes, but this is one that is local, and you will be able to see the immediate changes in your community and really make a difference to the people living in this area and help this community thrive.
My experience there has shaped me as a person and made me better, I think, in what I do. But it also gave me the foundation to go forward in my career and do the things that are most important for me and be able to help other people. Without my involvement in Snow Goose, I don't know that I would have got into my master's program as readily as I did, and it set me up on the career path I wanted for my life. And it set me up career path-wise and also as a person-wise. I want to specify how important that piece is.
We believe that if we can get this project off the ground, that it will provide the leadership that will assist other communities in creating similar types of projects. We understand, and then when we talk to people who support us in the past, their reward is in seeing the buildings and the families and individuals who benefit from it. And certainly as we create those buildings, we have recognition days for donors where they would come in and meet the families and the individuals who will come to live here. And in and of itself, I believe that's more recognition than any plaque or building named after could provide. So with your help, we can lead the way and teach and help other communities achieve what's needed in their community, which is supported, affordable housing for people with intellectual disabilities.
For the people that live there, there is no greater gift than to be able to live independently and to have the quality of life that those individuals have. I guess through donations from other people. It's fantastic. It really is an amazing program.
When you think that your money might just be going to help build these buildings, it's actually going so much further. It's going to build relationships and a culture and community.
By the end of January, she lost her father. She came back here after a week of being at home, saying, I want to go home. And I think that says it all. This is now her home. She's comfortable here.
There's not enough words of gratitude. We wouldn't be here without the circle of friends, without Greg and his leadership, and without the scholarship funds for the students. So it's a win-win for the students, for us, for the parents, for the community. It doesn't get any better than this for a good quality of life for a person like Tyler.
I would describe Elmira in two ways. It's a community that's never lost its pioneer mentality, and people are willing to roll up their sleeves and get to work. And that's why in Elmira, we can do things that other communities may not be able to accomplish. The Field of Dreams housing project, if we build it, will you fund?